News. I am Khushbu Soni, the host for the broadcast and chief editor at CIO News. This is our exclusive interview series on the topic of digital transformation on the edge, powered by Tata Communications. It is a recorded session and will be available on our website, that is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. It gives me an immense pleasure in introducing my guest for today's episode. He is Prasanna Lohar, the Vice President Technology for Digital Innovation and Architecture. Prasanna has 18 plus years of experience as technologist and innovator who has delivered rock-solid software solutions for industry-leading enterprises with lean and agile teams. He is a technical architect with view in articulation and decision-making skills to choose from one of the multiple technologies in presentation, integration, service layers, and operating platforms. A professional banker having experience in digital, innovation, and strategies. He's also been a speaker at industry-level panel for BFSI domain specifically. Has a very strong leadership ability to collaborate across lines of business, partners, startups, fintech, and customers to drive win-win situations for all. Prasanna has played major involvement in a number of key software product developments and digital transformation initiatives for various organizations. It is an absolute pleasure to have you, Prasanna, on today's episode.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. Prasanna, I would like to begin with, putting across my first question around, you being, at a leadership role as a vice president of such a huge bank as DCB. What does your typical day look like?
So I think it's a good question. I think if I look back, DCB Bank in 2014 and today, right, things have changed. Every bank or every organization has its own orbit, right? So we might be there in the fourth orbit or fifth orbit. We wanted to get into next level of orbit digital transformation, right? So we had typical strategy around better customer experience, having better banking products around mortgages, FD, and so on. So and I think we were hardly having any mobile apps, right?
Right.
So if I consider that day and today, and the daily routine is drastically changed. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So we operated so far like on a principle of CEAT, wherein we created a lot of products or backend systems which will help us to create many more other innovations, right? E is for engage, which is like engaging internal partners, internal business teams, and fintech ecosystem, outside partners, and so on. And act is for whatever we have created as a part of a C, create, right? How do we utilize that? Say, example, we have created UPI backend system. Can we not utilize it for opening some fintech, or can we not have that feature on mobile apps or on internet banking? Or we have created a Aadhaar ecosystem as a part of a C. Can we not utilize for some innovation like DC Bank was the first bank to do Aadhaar-enabled ATM way back in 2016, right? Or on top of that, we have created straight-through account opening processing during pandemic.
Right.
So coming back to your question, Khushbu, so we drive everything around one massive agenda to take an organization to the next level. For people side, on process enhancement, adopting new technologies, working closely for regulations, compliance, and keep on speaking with the customer. So complete day, if you ask me today, it's a combination of all of these things, right? Taking care of people within bank, engaging people outside of the bank, working with the fintechs, or keeping the uptime of the applications which we have built as a part of infra, right? And the most important part these days is around, we have identified around many more hundreds of automation opportunities in the bank. So it's not only me, but including MD is a part of this whole program, right? So it is getting reviewed on a monthly basis. So it makes great sense for us to be part of such program. So most of our energy goes around this, which is taking organization to the next level, right? So typical day starts with the same agenda, ends up with how do we take it next day. Yeah, so that's a whole story about. But look at DC Bank, how was it, right? 5 years before or 7 years before, and today almost we know what is our strategy, right? We know what needs to be automated, right? So now we are getting more and more matured as a part of a digital transformation maturity index, and we know what to do here onwards to take care of our customers. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Great. My next question is, Prasanna, to hear from you in this whole situation that we've been, the COVID era.
Yeah.
What is the way forward for contributing to a growing digital economy?
Yeah, I think since last 18 months, right, people always say about COVID has given a lot of traction for digital transformation. That is a fact, right? That is a truth. If you see the kind of projects we used to do before COVID, hardly 40, 45 a year. But in last 18 months, we have done more than 200 projects, right, so as a bank, and with a lot of collaboration, right? So collaboration has increased, innovation index is increased for the organizations, right? People are looking at customer service as one of the best angle to do, right? So earlier it was just like, yeah, let's do a digital delivery, and that's how it used to happen. But now it's the same customer who is gonna bank with the bank A as well as bank B, right? So there are three things are happening in the ecosystem as of now. The one thing is like, how do I take care of my customer, right? More and more, and how do I engage my customer either based upon big data or understanding the data, right? Understanding his sentiments and aspiration to do banking or financial ecosystems, right? So that's the one thing which is happening. So every bank will ride on the big data and the AI kind of technologies, so that they understand customer more and provide them the more automated and better customer experience. Second thing which is happening, while a bank is doing same service for another bank, now banks and fintechs are collaborating together to provide a consolidated output in front of a customer, right? UPI was one of them, right? So wherein a UPI is now available as a consolidated output for all banks, right? Wherein PhonePe, Google Pay are also part of this whole journey through some bank. Now, as a part of this consolidation, account aggregator is coming to our life, right? So while I talk as an individual bank, so a lot of collaboration is happening within a banking ecosystem with the help of RBI. Tomorrow it will be central bank digital currency, right? So UPI was one of the best innovation last decade. CBDC will be another one in this decade. So collaboration among banking is happening now, right? You may feel it is not happening, but internally it is happening. The way a lot of initiatives are coming, like PPPS or PCA, public credit registry, account aggregator, right? So decentralized KYC, which is a game of all banks coming together, right? So third thing, which is a very, very important thing, overall tech stack of a tech companies or fintech companies, it is getting mature, right? Earlier, it was like over a period of last 4 or 5 years, it used to be a lot of handholding from bank side to them. Yeah, you should do this way, you should that way. Now it is vice versa. These tech companies are coming and guiding banks. Okay, this is how it should be, right? For your customers, for your infra, for your daily operations through some RPA or IA, or this is something for your human resources. So I think a lot of tech companies are getting matured in many ways, right? Things are going on cloud, things are getting ready on edge computing. So I think these three areas are really changed drastically during COVID time, right? We talk about companies, and the last but not the least, which touches on all the three areas, is the customer. Customer in the last 18 months has changed completely. It's a complete human augmentation within bank, within organization, as well as outside, right? The behavior to look at towards banking, I don't want to go to the branch bank, right? Everything is available around me, right? So why I have to go? So that cross-industry innovation, which is coming from media and entertainment, right? People don't want to go, or although it will be difficult for people to go to cinema theaters, right? Now everything is available on Netflix and Amazon Prime. A lot of platforms are coming. The next 4 or 5 years, you'll have a lot of banking platforms available as a marketplace. YONO is one example today, or FaceApp is another example. Google Pays or Phone Pays are another examples in India. So maybe over a period of time, you will have a lot of marketplaces where you can avail non-banking as well as banking services. Say it's a loan, or say it's a travel or travel loan, right? And there are new business models are coming in because of this customer augmentation or change. Like buy now, pay later, right? Or something based upon many more things based upon open bank. I think it has all happened during the last 18 months. So it's a complete customer shift, technology shift, and that is why indirectly, directly, companies are also have to shift to the next level. Yeah.
True, and I think like we've been hearing and seeing, this is the time where the real transformation has happened, and companies have really accelerated their transformation journey. So, uh, great. What learnings has your organization taken from the pandemic, and how does it plan to create a digital ecosystem internally?
Yeah, so I think very, very good question. And when I look back at my management, and so we could see that in the when pandemic was announced, way back, say example in Maharashtra somewhere in mid of March, right? So 18, 20th March. And I was just thinking for 1 hour, 2 hours, what is going to happen, right? What all things personally I will do during these 30, 35 days. That was the announcement, right? And moreover, for a bank, what is that we will do, right? How my people will operate? Or will it be like just a fill in the gaps, okay, let's not work for 10, 15 days. But I could see the way at a DC bank we have done. We took it as an opportunity, right? So what is that? We had identified some key projects to be delivered during that time. Once I told, right? So account opening process for fixed deposit. Why my front staff cannot go and meet people, right? So can we not have a straight through account opening process with the APIs available? Okay, so that it's a paperless account opening process, and it is done in a flat 30, 35 days, followed by video KYC and another 10, 15 days. So these kind of initiatives and we launched our mobile banking app during the time, almost, and then we launched this massive program based upon whatever we gain during this initial couple of deliveries. Why not we drive the same collaboration attitude for almost all the automation agenda? So on at a management level, we identified those various projects or agendas, and typically every week we drive this as a sprint or a agile methodology, right? I never seen that in any of my past organizations, right? And I interacted with many bankers also. They also have given that feedback at organization level. Such a massive collaboration among business, among IT security, and they are sitting together and seeing how we can go to the next level. So that was the biggest gain of the pandemic, I must say, and that momentum we are carrying. So while carrying that momentum, we come up with some of those few more agendas, right? So most of the important agenda is the speed and the automation, right? So how do we? So any process we talk today, we see what is that automation room, right? How can we automate that? So maybe 4 years before, people were not aware of RPA or API banking or any of those technologies. I'm talking of people sitting in the branches or people sitting in operations. Today, these people are talking to us, please open this or automate it with the help of RPA, or can we use this API? So that kind of a culture building exercise has happened over a period of 18 months, right? So that's another aspect. Apart from automation, culture has changed, right? And we want to take advantage of this culture change, because any organization, if I drive a learning program, ki baba, please learn digital transformation, it will be always a theoretical. But through this massive program, it has helped everybody to understand it's their KRA now. We have to transfer, right? Innovation is our KRA or automation is our KRA. That's the thing we have learned during this whole thing. So today, how do we take it to the next level? Can we not have more partnerships with the fintech? So third angle is like partnerships, right? Automation we spoke, culture change we spoke. Now partnering with the fintechs or tech companies to provide more banking service to the set of upcoming customers, right? And while we keep on doing this, can we not innovate more in parallel, right? And see what is that out of box disruptive idea will come and help bank to the excel to the next level. Yeah, this is what we have seen during this pandemic. I will not emphasize more on skilling part or those training parts, because it's now must for every organization who are not giving opportunity to reskill their employees. I think they will lose out. They will lose out people itself. Moreover, it's an additional effort to reskill somebody who is coming outside, right? So customer engagement is very good, but customer engagement starts with the employee engagement. This is what we have learned during this pandemic. Yeah.
Very true. I think it's very important because in this time, not only the customers but even employee experience was very important for
Very important. Yeah.
organizations. You're right. Um, Now coming to my next question around cloud, how do you reimagine cloud in this post-COVID world? And do you think a hybrid cloud is an effective post-COVID strategy?
So I think cloud is not new, right? So cloud is, I think, 10, 12 years old story, but looking at the banking norms and the whole story around it, right? It takes a lot of time. Example, we have invested heavily on managed data centers, right? Not we, only every bank has invested. So it's not easy because there are 150 plus applications, including some of those core apps like core banking system, lending, and trade finances and all, right? And these service providers itself are not ready for it. Right? That's the biggest thing, right? Why we are not on cloud. So considering the cloud adoption for any of the organization depends upon the people and skill set available within the organization. Say example, fintech companies. They have a cloud first journey, right? So they don't have to deal with managed data centers and so on. So that because they don't have that legacy of so many years and so many systems already in place. That investment is already in place. It will take a lot of time for banks to come out of that. Right. So that's the equation behind that. How do we do that? Right. So any new systems which is coming in our life, we always see, can it go on cloud? Let's say example, our social media listening platform is on cloud. Our video KYC platform is on cloud. Our learning management system, some of the non-banking applications on cloud. So, and inherently, when we talk to fintechs or partner with the fintechs, we eventually adopt that cloud of a fintech, right? So that's how we are adopting it. Now, as a part of a journey at BCB, we had implemented a virtualized environment, right? We called it virtualization way back in 2016, and 15, 16. So today, our 95% servers are on virtualized environment. Right, with the approach that tomorrow we want to cloud, it will become very easy stuff.
Correct.
Now there are some at least 4 to 5 aspects which are hindering, which are not helping, or which are opportunities for every organization to cloud. So most important, which I said around the regulatory guidelines. Okay, regulatory guidelines. How do we deploy applications on the cloud, right? So these guidelines are there. Okay, and every individual bank also have their own cloud positioning guideline, right? So it has to be right. There has to be open guidelines from RBI or IDRBT has some guidelines, which is so that's one thing, right? So data localization and so on. Second thing is like, although there are guidelines, although cloud service provider offer by saying, yeah, we are on Indian Bank's cloud or something like that, right? It doesn't happen that so easily, right? So I have my own personal experiences. It took a lot of time, months, to really see how the data is coming, right? Because the way architecture it is, it has to go to the transition has to go to the outside of the bank, outside of the India, right? So that thing we have to convince internally to security people, right? So that's the second thing. How cloud service providers are ready within India, how application service providers are ready on the cloud. Right. I don't have a core banking system on cloud today by Infosys. It is available, but it is not that matured the way it is matured on the on-prem, right? The way we use since last 10, 15, 20 years, right? In every bank. Tomorrow Infosys says and come, tomorrow's version is only on cloud. So by force, we are on the cloud. Likewise, Oracle is going to come, tomorrow's Oracle version on the cloud, right? Maybe 19C or followed by 20. So that will be on cloud. So they will have to go on a cloud. Correct. So third angle is very, very important. Application service providers are not ready on the cloud. Once they are ready on the cloud, automatically we have to go there. There is no choice on about it, right? Fourth is like overall ROI. When we deploy something on our cloud, and what is the ROI, right? Ahead of what I was doing. That's a very, very important thing. And today, it's a myth or reality. Time will prove. a service provider talk to a bank, ask for X. Same service provider talk to a bank B, ask for 3X for same service. It's a different kind of a methodology I never understood. Right. So that I think that angle service provider has to be very, very transparent enough. Why X or 3X for same set of services, right? Because ultimately it's platforms and services, so on. Now, fourth angle is which coming back to your original point, hybrid, right? So it is already happening. We are already on a hybrid architecture.
Okay.
Now, tomorrow's banking, when I said in earlier question, is marketplace banking.
Right.
So when I had to open my APIs to my fintech companies, today it's a very tedious task. It takes 15-20 days minimum for adoption of the API by fintech companies.
Right.
You know that POS system, right? Point of sale system.
Right.
Used to take 5 to 10 days earlier. Right? Even in the 2004-5. Can you imagine that merchant is waiting for a POS system and it's gonna launch on his shop, and then he will be shop, and that adoption was not there, right?
Correct.
Even payment gateways we used to see in 2008 onwards, when payment gateway came in and say we will act as a payment aggregators for e-commerce transaction. It used to take for every merchant to get into 7-8 days. But today it's a matter of a few hours. Similar kind of adoption I can do with a fintech company instead of waiting for those 15 days through some cloud approach. Right? Bank is as a service, right? Banking as a service coming in between bank and fintech and say, I will take care of this integration.
Correct.
There are some platforms that are coming in. So that is another kind of adoption which we'll see, because most of the banking in the next 5 years will go there.
Right.
For DCB, our 90% I think we surpassed all of our digital transactions than the branch in the last, right? So imagine next 5 years, most of the 90% transaction for every bank will be digital, and these fintechs will be taking more portion. Right. Not mobile banking, not internet banking, but this fintech banking or marketplace banking will be having a major role, right?
Correct.
So inherently, we are already moving there.
Right.
So if I summarize this whole stuff, right?
Yeah.
Every organization has its own way to adopt cloud. There are cloud first organizations like DCP may not be the cloud first, but we are virtualized already, has an opportunity to go on cloud, provided my service provider is on the cloud, my application provider is on the cloud. And it has to be a good win-win situation, cloud service provider, bank together. Because today we talk about one cloud, right?
Right.
Tomorrow's application will be multi-cloud. When multiple banks will be part of, you remember my answer around consolidation, collaboration banking.
Correct.
So X bank has a AWS, B bank has a Google. How do they collaborate, right? How do we maintain that scalability and security? So that's a different game altogether. When we'll be part of a blockchain-based ecosystems or 5G ecosystems or edge computing rather than a cloud plus edge computing.
Right.
So it's a journey, Khushbu, and I think most of the bank has their own journeys. Few of the banks already announced we are on cloud. Our mail system is on the cloud. So as it comes, based upon type of organization, people adapt the cloud. But I think considering customer expectation, finally, everything will be on the cloud, more or less in the next 5-6 years. Yeah.
True.
Yes.
Wonderful insights, Prasanna. My one last question before we close today: what are the innovations that you're bringing in in 2022? What are your top priorities? In terms of digital transformation and taking DCB to the next level from a technology front.
Yeah, so as a part of an innovation, so we run a program called Innovation Carnival. Okay, so this Innovation Carnival program, we have opened around 40 plus use cases like customer experience, automation, blockchain-based banking, or how do we create a better branch experience, right? Customer coming in, customer going out, how long he is there in the bank, right? So is he there for 4 hours? Why he is there in the 4 hours, right? Why not there? He went out within 20 minutes, right? So these kind of innovation. So in every area we have our own use cases or opportunities, problem statements, and we want to work on those to if we measure index, right? Innovation index. So we carry a innovation index of every department. and we provide them. Your innovation index is 3 or 4 out of 10, and if you want to reach to the 5 or 6 or 7 in the next 1 year, these are the opportunity we should do compared to how banks are doing it, or compared to, like, there are 4 types of innovation, right?
Right.
Problem solving innovation, which we have to do, right, as a part of
Right.
operations, and something like catching up. Somebody has done it, why not do it, right?
Right.
Or something like some game changer innovations, like which very few guys have done it. So why not we also do some Alexas or conversational banking with a better, or something which is not at all there today, right? Disruptive, and it will come up and really scale to the next level. So those innovations also we are looking at, right? So we know where we are, and every type of innovations we have some opportunities or some kind of responsibilities within banks. So we are looking at how we should do it. It may be on infra side, it may be on HR side, it may be on a better customer experience. Can we not create our own innovation lab, right, to work with the close fintechs, or some of them, can we, how do I have a better way to onboard customers, right? Through API banking or through partners, right? So type of innovations and the type of ways to do that, right? So I can talk for a day, right? What are things we could do? Yeah, so that's a key. Keep on innovating on a regularly basis. Innovation has to be part of every employee, so that they also participate in the journey. They also provide their ideas, right? So I think a bank size with 8,000 employees and just 10 ideas coming, or 50 ideas coming, which are path-breaking ideas, it's a boon for that bank, right? So similar kind of programs also we drive within a bank, like employee generated ideas, so-called Idea Express. So it's all packaging everything together, reviewing it regularly with the management, going back again and drawing board and act. So that's whole C8 principle remains as a strategy for us: create, engage, act, and transform. Yeah.
Awesome. And I see it on your backdrop as well, your next idea.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Wonderful insights, Prasanna. Thank you so much once again to join us on this episode of CIO News, and sharing all your valuable insights with us. I think there are going to be a lot of key takeaways for our viewers. So thank you once again, and it was a pleasure to host you today.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you very much. Yeah.